you need to talk about this too, because you just mentioned the word hijab enslaves women, or you said it's kind of like slavery, because I was going to let it slide. But last week we spoke about this. There's a video you can see Taliban introduce a new 1400-year-old dress code for Afghan women. And it's obviously this Taliban government is shameless, and they actually lie after if there's an outrage. They lie and they deny no, but it's been confirmed again that it's true. So Taliban to force Afghan women to wear face veil. So in retaliation to that, Nuria, and we spoke about this last week. You can go and check the video. In retaliation to that, these women have said, they're saying living creatures, not slaves. In Kabul, Afghan women push back against Taliban orders to cover up. So the Taliban on May 7th ordered women to cover their faces in public, a return to their past hardline rule and an escalation of restriction on girls and women. And that included they even forced a ban of husband and wife families to sit together. So even if you go to a restaurant, you can't sit together with your wife or your daughter. They kind of denied it, but we can't confirm it. But anyway, many women in the Afghan capital are delaying a return to fully covering their faces in public in defiance of orders from Islamist Taliban rulers. Others are staying at home, and some have been wearing COVID-19 face masks. Anyway, the Taliban, who swept back to power as the government collapsed, on Saturday ordered women to cover their faces in public, a return to their past hardline rule. Took them about a year to come to that. When did they come to power? In August, I think, last year, September.
Yeah, August.
But we all saw that coming. Taliban 2.0, they're not like that. They're different. Yeah, we can see that. And an escalation of restriction on girls and women are causing anger at home and abroad. The consequences of disobedience are aimed at a woman's closest male family member, ranging from a warning to imprisonment. So, because if the poor husband doesn't enforce this burqa ban, he's the one who's gonna go to prison.
Also, Har, sorry, can you believe that the word disobedience is still being used for women in 2022? Like, the consequences of disobedience. This is why I say, like, in Islam, even if you're a grown-up, fully sane-minded woman, you are effectively always considered a child, according to Islam, and like the way Islam treats you. I mean, the constant need to be obedient and be disciplined if you're not. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. Fajr just made a comment. She's saying that PAMRA, which is Pakistani governmental regulatory authority, yeah. So they have banned holding hands scenes and hug scenes in Pakistani dramas, even among married couples. Would you believe that? Yeah, of course I'd believe that. This is the Medina Kanyas at that.
I think we actually covered that. Do you remember when they did it? We covered that story. And we said this is literally a new low, because we were like, they're happy to show like domestic violence. And I was saying, I watched a drama where they were happy to show a woman literally chained to a tree who was about to be married to her father-in-law, but they can't show a husband like hugging his wife or giving her a kiss goodnight or any form of affection. What toll will that have on the society and the psyche of society in general? Like, you talk a lot about soft culture, and I fully agree with you about soft culture. So when Pakistan is perverting its own soft culture in an already sexually depraved nation, what's the ramifications going to be? It's a disaster waiting to happen. The men are going to turn, So you're happy to show women and your sisters coming out with trays of chai and tea and serving men and being abused left, right, and center, being slapped around, being manipulated by their mother-in-law. But you're not happy to show someone holding hands. Well, what are your priorities like?
Yeah. And not only just that, anyway, going back to this, so the UN Security Council will meet on Thursday to discuss the order, and the United States said it would double down on the Taliban administration. But because there are no economic ties with the Taliban, that's why you can't force or pressure them into anything. But again, it's a double-edged sword for them. And they then these Muslims blame the West and America for you're not giving them aid, and this is like a blockade. And well, sorry, if we don't agree with your code of conduct, the world doesn't have to give you anything. Anyway, it was not clear whether any men had yet faced consequences by Wednesday, and Taliban authorities said they would first focus on encouraging. Oh, so nice of you.
Encouraging adherence. What is that? Is that like 100 lashes? What you're gonna until I oblige, or if I don't, then it gets even worse. I don't even want to know what the enforcement tactics would be.
Yeah. So in Kabul, one of the more liberal areas of Afghanistan, there were indications that women were pushing back. Yes, including one woman I saw, and that was a separate news story. Nuria, I was like, who are these people? Where do they get this courage from? So this is Afghan news presenter. She says, "Screw you! I'm not gonna wear a burqa." And she had like the traditional dupatta kind of thing. But she did a show, so I don't know what happened to her. I don't know if she's still alive, but I would not recommend that. I don't have that kind of courage.
No, I know. What? No, I was actually watching a documentary recently on what the situation is like for women right now, and to be honest, Haris, the whole way through that documentary, I was watching it with my mom, and I was like, oh my God, I like my anxiety levels right now are so, because these women, no matter how many times they got shut down, literally the Taliban are going from door to door, house to house, looking for them. Yeah, especially the ones that are finding safe spaces for other families to flee the rural areas and even come to Kabul, because the control their entire village is like taken over by the Taliban. But these women that are meeting in secret, and I was like the Taliban effectively said on International Women's Day, like, don't you dare, like no women should step out. Like, that was the overall thing. And yet these women, I was like on the edge of my seat, and I was like, you women are so much braver than I think I could be in the face of that adversity. Like, the Taliban already have your name, your sister's name, your family's name on a hit list. It's just a matter of them like knocking on the right door, or a neighbor being scared enough to like rat you out. Yet in defiance, you are graffitiing for International Women's Day and meeting in secrecy and sharing poetry about the liberation of women and Afghani women, and what what freedom once meant to them. And there was a handful of women, but like, yeah, as you're saying, probably braver than you and I could ever be in the face of these threats. It really hats off.
This is where it gets interesting. So with the liberal areas of Afghanistan, at least 2 protests took place this week as demonstrators criticized growing attempts to limit women from public life. We want to be known as living freaking creatures. We want to be known as human beings, not slaves.
How hard is that to understand? How hard is it? I'm human too.
Not only how hard is it to understand, but is that freaking so much to ask?
Yeah.
Is that so much to ask? Is that too much to ask?
Yes, according to Islam. Yes, it is, Haris. That's me causing fitna, asking for you to treat me like a human being. I'm literally spreading mischief in the land. We know what Islam does to mischievous or disobedient people, especially a woman.
Not slaves imprisoned in the corner of the house. Al-Ghazali, the celebrated Muslim scholar, said that you must keep the women of your house at in the back part of the house, not even in the middle or the front, the back part of the house. That is how much contempt there is. A seller of all and
may as well put us in the shed with the horses while you're at it. Oh, sorry, that is what Islam considers us.
No, then you might get dirty thoughts regarding the horses. Yeah, they'll think that.
Only a Muslim man could ever think that way.
Yeah, of course, they would think that. A seller of all-enveloping burqas in Kabul told Reuters in the days after the announcement, sellers had lifted prices around 30%, but they had since come back to around 1,300 Afghanis, which is what? Which is 1,161 rupees. Oh, yeah, okay. As there was no increase they should have had dollars. Well, how much is these rupees? It was so increased amount. Most women prefer to buy a hijab, a headscarf, not a burqa. There you go. That says a lot.
That says a lot. You're right. That speaks volumes. I mean, they want to do the bare minimum. How can you erase me the very least? That is hijab.
But they want to go the other way. The Taliban want to go the other way. They're saying that burqa is good according to the Taliban, but it is the women's last choice. So So anyway,
according to the Taliban's logic, okay, if I just stopped breathing, that would be easier for them. They'd be thrilled.
No, they won't, because they need to gratify their sexual urges too. So they need someone alive, but just barely.
Just barely, exactly, barely breathing.
Reuters spoke to 2 female doctors and a teacher. The few formal jobs still available to women that would be taken away too. Don't hold your breath.
Yeah, exactly. Given to their father or brother, or them being forced to take those jobs.
Bank jobs.
I love. Don't you find it so funny, Horace, how the Taliban think that? Imagine if you've been a bank teller your whole life, okay? Well, no, let's say I have, okay, and let's say, figuratively speaking, you were the only male relative, the next one after me. You've had no experience, yet the Taliban think that just because you're a male, like related to me, you will be able to take over that job in a jiffy and be able to run a country that's actually governable and functionable. I mean, like, oh, that job that you've done and trained for and spent all those like hours getting experience and leveling up, let this guy with no experience come in and replace you because he doesn't have what you have between your legs.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So we are doctors. We do operations. We have to wash our hands up to our elbows, said a doctor who declined to be identified for security reasons. So anyway, the 2 female doctors and a teacher said that covering faces and wearing loose garments would interfere with their work. Oh, as if that's going to work.
Well, Horace, can I just make a point on that?
What if the patient sees you and get excited? So nope, cover it up. Yeah.
I think that's the least of the patient's worries, to be honest.
No, Taliban. I'm going by the Taliban's logic.
Yeah, exactly. It's true. But this is the thing. This is when they defy their own logic, okay, and their own rationale, because again, it does not work. Your society will not function. You will crumble from the top down and the bottom up, the way the Taliban is going. So when in this documentary was showing the fact that because the only surgeons and doctors, like most of them that are available in Kabul, are women, that's the only area that the Taliban have given a free pass to. Like, they've let women stay there as surgeons and doctors to perform surgery because there's not enough men to do it. And if you keep those women at home, like, Afghanistan is I mean, it's heading straight for disaster. It already is, but like the very bare minimum of like skills and knowledge and like these expert doctors they have to treat the public is confined to these few women. And that's where the Taliban say, okay, let them do, because they have nothing better to offer themselves. So they've got to understand that you have to allow this across in the legal sphere. You've got to allow this in the social sphere. You've got to allow this in the educational sector. Your society is crumbling either way. The one thing they're not letting go of is, oh, we need some people to perform surgery. Who do those people happen to be? Women.
Yeah.
And so they bend their own rules wherever it suits them.
So outside the capital, there were some signs that Saturday's announcement was fueling stricter oversight of women's dress. A doctor in southeastern Afghanistan said Taliban officials had told her not to treat female patients who did not have a male chaperone and were not fully covered. So refusal of medical services, I think that should be the title of this.
So listen, if I'm dying, okay, but I haven't got time to get my abaya and my burqa and stuff, and my brother takes me to the hospital and he waits outside because he's trying to park the car and he's put me on a stretcher and said, take her, help her, save her life, please, I will be refused treatment. They won't save your life. And this is getting as wild, literally as wild as what used to happen back in the day in Saudi Arabia, where there was a fire in an all-girls school, and because those girls didn't have enough time to go to the cloakroom to fetch their abayas, they effectively let them all burn alive in the school. Yes, I will get that
Saudi Arabia
article and we'll share it. Yeah, next time.
Oh my!
For sure. Yeah.
So is that the reason they drilled it down to?
Yes.
Because there were no.
If you step out of school and save their lives, there's men there, there's the firefighters, there's the bus drivers. Those women aren't covered. Therefore, die.
But wouldn't the natural reaction be to run out? Like, people have jumped out of burning buildings.
We didn't say Islam severs the natural reaction and the natural feeling and everything natural. Yeah, I'll find you that news story. It was when I heard about that, and like my because I was living in Saudi at the time when I heard about that incident, and I was like, this is wild. Thank heavens I go to an international school kind of thing. Yeah.
A university student in northern Afghanistan said university officials since Saturday were becoming much stricter on dress code. Yeah, well, don't be surprised. They'll say, sorry, can't come to universities anymore. Telling her, I'm actually surprised that didn't they ban higher education for women as well? Well, maybe in some places they haven't. Telling her on Monday that her colorful scarf was so even the scarf can't be colorful. Well, unacceptable,
No,
and
it's
she must
just
wear all black.
bleak. Everything's colorless. Everything's artless. Everything's expressionless, emotiveless. Everything is just devoid of any life.
And as you
Under
say,
Islamic
Islam
law.
sucks. What do you say? Islam sucks.
Sucks the joy out of everything.
Yeah, well, we need to create a like one of those ones where your photo and this golden quotes. That's a quotable quote. Fahima, a woman living in the western province of Herat, ran a business before the Taliban took over, but now must wait for her teenage son to come home from school so she can leave the house with him just to buy groceries. A mother has to wait for her teenage son to come home because she's not allowed to go out without a mahram.
Because you're a child. In Islam, you will always be a child. As a woman, you are a child. And also, I just want to say, Haris, this makes my blood boil. How ironic is this, okay? That Muhammad relied for so long on Khadija, okay? She was the breadwinner, effectively.
Oh, yeah.
She made the money. The guy was probably waiting for her to come home and give him pocket money to go out and like, learn his stories or sit in the cave or whatever it is he liked doing. But how he comes along and he completely flips the narrative, and he has
Maybe he was
enslaved.
tired of being pussy whipped.
No, exactly. That's the thing. It's almost like, okay, just because you have been under the thumb of Khadija this whole time, now you've got this independence, and you assert that in a way where you subjugate whatever issues you've had, you're taking it out on all future women. After Khadija, there has been no woman who has come into contact with Muhammad and lived a better life than that woman who was in charge of him. Aisha, Safi, all of them. Who's thrived under Muhammad after becoming a Muslim woman of the Ummah, or the mother of the believers, as they like to say? What have they done? Aisha herself is the giveaway, saying no woman is treated suffers as much as a believing woman. Your Lord hastens to fulfill your desires. I mean, she's on to her husband. Why are we sitting here defending this crap?
Before the straw man, I get the point, and I agree with you. He must have been under the thumb. But they would say that this is why Khadija married him, because he was basically running the day-to-day operations and she stayed at home, because it would be easier. But anyway, there could be a bit
Where's
of
the evidence that she stayed at home? Where is that evidence?
Well, I think it's in Ishaq that no, not necessarily stayed at home like how Islam enforced them, but he was running the day-to-day operations of the house. So he would travel, he would go to places where she's in Mecca.
Yeah, because he had to earn his keep. That's why he was a merchant. She would be like, Muhammad, go out and do something, mate.
Oh yeah,
away.
She
was filthy rich. She was filthy rich. She was an astute businesswoman. So don't say that pre-Islam, you were burying, young women. The more powerful women all existed pre-Islam, and
that's
the ones who broke free of Islam.
Yeah, that's an exaggeration. But yeah, you're right. Islam. Look at all the caliphs. I wanted to talk about Bilal Bhutto as a foreign minister. He gave a statement. He was on his official trip to the United States, and he answered some journalists there, and he told the journalists, Pakistan was the first country where an Islamic Republic of Pakistan, Islam allows women to be to hold positions of power or whatever. And he said, and he gave the example of his mother.
No. Yeah.
And he gave the example of his mother, so I would have played that. But anyway, it's just we need to.
And you would have shown him the hadith, right, where Muhammad says, "No nation will ever be successful."
Straight away,
debunked straight away.
And I was thinking, it got me to think the first major war between Ali and Aisha, Jang-e-Jamal.
Yeah,
Aisha lost. Fair enough, she lost. One has to be a winner, one has to be a loser. But when she lost, she just went into hiding after that, like in not hiding, solace. She never took part in any politics after that. Like, she was beaten into submission. So one could argue, had she won, they might have had a better chance. They would have said, "Look, hey, look, our fourth caliph was a woman." Then they would have had a better chance.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd probably laugh that up as a Muslim woman. I'd be like, "See."
Yeah, but that didn't happen.
Exactly.
But that didn't happen. She lost. She retreated. She actually gave up. Yeah. So So yeah, so that's just the nature of the Taliban, and I feel really sad for these for these women. Have a look at this. I was just looking at it when I was reading this. I was just looking at it like these girls or women of Afghanistan, and now she has to wait. A mother has to wait for her son to come home so she can go out and not and go out like this.
How demeaning is that, Horace? The life that she produced, okay, the life that she gave birth to. Now, her son has more agency over her
Yeah.
than she has over
Mm-hmm.
herself.
Mm-hmm.
Her son is like her guardian or gatekeeper. She's got to like be like, oh, do I have permission? Can you take me to the bazaar? Like hold his hand and go to do something so normal. That is human agency. The very basic. Oh my gosh! Like Islam takes the fundamental concept of humanity and strangles it from its
Yeah.
first breath onwards.
Yeah. Well, it's but have a look at this model. I think she's a Bollywood actress, Deepika
Yeah, when you
Padukone.
were talking, I was admiring how stunning she looks in that. I really like Deepika, as a side note for any
Yeah, but
Deepika fans.
Deepika Padukone. But anyway, I don't know. I've heard her name. I know she's an actress. She's a
She's a
Bollywood
great
actress.
actress, yeah.
But I was just looking at it. Only a few hundred miles away. Oh well, there's Pakistan in between. But even in Pakistan, you could more or less do this. The Pakistani celebrities are like that. But look at this. This is the quality of life. What mistake did this girl made that she was born in Taliban infested
That's
Afghanistan,
it. That's the only mistake she made, being born in the wrong country. Imagine.
and this woman can live a life and well to its full potential basically. So you work hard, you can be as successful as she is. But this poor woman, this girl's only purpose is to make babies when she grows up. That's it. She
And
has
never,
no.
never, ever, ever, ever have the chance to experience a dress on her body the way Deepika is in that. Never experience standing in that pose, having that necklace on, feeling like a glamour queen, feeling like she's worth anything. She's not even going to be allowed to probably answer back, raise her voice, share a real individual personal thought that she has. Her life is one big filter from her birth to her burial. She is filtered.
There was a National Geographic magazine. There was this girl
The famous
was
Afghan girl's
yeah,
picture,
with
yeah.
blue eyes, yeah. And when she grew up, like that picture was so powerful. It had it just captivated us. And like when you see a child star or something, and then you imagine that's how they would have grown up. But
Oh
she
my
didn't.
God, that did not age well, did it? That was
She did
horrible,
not.
the
I think she's
reality.
around my age. Or I think no, actually,
No, I
she's a
mean
few
not
years
her,
older
as
than me.
in she didn't age well, as in what Nat Geo were trying to do with that, because
Yes.
that it really exposed them as well, and their style of go on.
No, you're right. No, but
Yeah, so they retraced. Yeah, go on.
I would even say no. She did not age well. The poor woman had to go through a lot. I think when the second photo they took, she was only in her late 30s or something. But poor woman, it seemed like she had suffered a lot, and she had the whole of 90s, the whole of 2000s, and
Well, yeah. And I mean that's it, right? That's like this you come in as Nat Geo, you take a picture, this picture gets viral, it goes crazy in the world to be like, this is like this Afghan child who's been pictured. Her eyes were insanely captivating. They captivated probably everyone that's heard of it or come across it. Yet Nat Geo went there, took that picture, like probably without her permission at that age anyway, right? Went into this rural area, took her picture, got back in their van, packed up their cameras, left, made insane amounts of money in royalties for every time that picture is used. And you go back and retrace where that woman is, and she's not got a dime, and her life has not progressed an iota. She is still there in those exact same circumstances, yet she has been cashed in on. As on the cover of Nat Geo and having changed the world, and she reaps none of those benefits. So if that's not literally coming in and literally hijacking poverty to make it seem cool and exotic and foreign and whatever you benefit from that, none of those rewards reap back to the actual individuals who are the frontier of that.
yeah,
It was really sad for me to see when they went back, and that's her older self as well. Yeah, this is it. Yeah.
That poor woman, and look, they even made her pose exactly the same way as well.
Yeah, honestly, shameless.
Yeah, look, these eyes were so captivating. They tell 1,000. I don't know.
It's
It's like there's a
literally like,
whole.
yeah.
Yeah, it seems like there's a whole ocean of stories behind that, and yeah, it's sad to see next to it. You're right. She's wearing that burqa, and she had probably a very tough life, and they probably made millions. This
Yeah,
iconic photo.
yeah.
Nothing, not a cent went to her. I don't know when they went back. But having said that, though, this photo, for some reason, I don't know why it reminded me of that, but this photo is reminding me of the similar, giving me similar kind of feeling. Look at this girl. This photo is probably taken this year. This girl's probably, I don't know, 10, maybe 9 years old, maybe 10, could be 11, 12, who knows. But this is going to be that Nat Geo girl all over again. She's gonna get married, she's gonna make babies, she's gonna have a very tough life, and she would never be
Yeah.
able to live her life to its full potential. That's just so heartbreaking. Yeah.
If you like these videos and want to support me in my activism, then you can support me on Patreon or PayPal. Stay free, everyone.